Fan Showdown, Season 4, Episode 8, the #1 series on YouTube, driven by the creativity of you all out there. Let's just get into it.
Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Whether you're looking to fend off boredom, focus on self-care through creativity, or join a similarly creative community, Skillshare is a place to keep you learning. Now, normally the stuff that I watch on Skillshare revolves around how can I improve my YouTube channel, and this time it's no different. One of the newest classes offered on Skillshare is one put together by Marques Brownlee called YouTube Success Script Shoot and Edit with MKBHD. In this class, Marques walks you through his process of how he goes about creating his YouTube videos. So if YouTube is something that you're thinking about getting into, or maybe you already have a channel and you're looking for ways that you can improve it, YouTube Success with MKBHD will be a great place to start. And for the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description below, you'll get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. And after that, it's only around $10 a month. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video.
First up, we got John and his fan, Bernoulli. Now, John said that he thought of many different designs while he was trying to figure out which fan to send into the Fan Showdown, but after going through all the rigmarole of doing all the designing, he said, why not this one? Also, he's not really convinced that he's gonna get much performance out of this design, but I wouldn't be so sure. Now, it doesn't look half bad. It's like 12-blade standard fan. Given all the crazy stuff that we've seen come into the Fan Showdown lately, maybe a standard fan is what we need. Also, as long as it moves any air at all, there's no way John can get last place. Next up though, we have Matt and his fan, Batwing Plus. This guy. Matt said that he's a mechanical engineering student at Penn State, and he was inspired to create this fan by the wings of a bat. Now, we've seen many animals on the Fan Showdown used as inspiration. The bat isn't normally one of those. I mean, we've seen it in the past, but it's not as popular as, say, like the owl, not counting Batman. Matt said the plus part of his design is referring to the outer ring on the fan, which he has positioned some very nifty vortex generator type fan blades. And his hope is that those little tiny blades will help move some more air from the outside towards the inside. As far as the fan, I think it looks pretty cool. The fan blade design is pretty nifty. And I will say, printed out of this diamond purple PLA, this is like the first time I bought any of this ZIRO or ZIRO PLA. Big fan. It was just kind of one of those things. I was looking for a new color for the Fan Showdown, came across this crazy purple stuff, decided to buy it. Printed really good. Big fan. I'll probably buy it again. So if you like this color, I'll leave a link in the description below. Would recommend. Now, next up, we have a fan that's not inspired by an animal, but kind of has an animal's name. It's called the cheetah. This fan was made by, oh boy, Lissa? Lissa said they spent about an hour designing this fan. And they named it the cheetah because they thought the name kind of rhymed with cheater. I don't know about that, but that's kind of all the information I was given about this bad boy. That's pretty much it. It does look like a high bypass fan from a jet engine, which you do know I'm a fan of. But given how fans modeled after jet engines have performed in the past, I don't really know how well this is gonna do. We'll have to just wait and see. So this next one, in normal fashion of the Fan Showdown, is a doozy. This is the Dragon's Breath. It was created by Chad. Now, in Chad's email, where he submitted this fan, the header of his email said, cheater beater, hopefully. So you know exactly what Chad is after to do today with this little fan here. Now, at first glance, you might be like, ooh, we've seen the cheater take down mighty opponents, and a fan like this, that's this basic, I don't know if Chad has much of a chance. But to that, I'd say wait, there's more. The Dragon's Breath has a secret weapon, and that weapon is this thing. This is called the Flow Maximizer, and it's placed, the idea for this whole fan design is like so. Fan goes onto a 12x25 body, boop, and this Flow Maximizer is mounted directly behind it. The Flow Maximizer tries to take advantage of Bernoulli again and his principles, and now in a nutshell, Bernoulli's principle states that an increase in the speed of a fluid occurs simultaneously with a decrease in static pressure. And we all know that fluid, air as a fluid, loves to go from places of high pressure to low pressure. So what Chad has essentially created here is a throat that reduces in diameter, and this reduction in diameter will hopefully increase the airflow speed behind the fan. And after the cone, he's created this little gap right before it goes into the wind tunnel, and he's hoping that the air that's kind of surrounding everything will be coerced into following that high-speed flow into the wind tunnel and hopefully producing more flow. I love the outside the box thinking. I'm sure all of you do as well. This design is really going to hinge on how well this here little fan does. Hopefully it can put out some nice static pressure to push that air through this shrinking hole to give us the airspeeds that we're needing. Will it work? I don't know. Do I want it to? Yes. Will we be able to tell in the smoke test? Yes. First off, all the fans look to be doing quite well in the smoke test, with the exception of the Dragon's Breath. Based on what we see in the smoke test, it looks like the fan is having a pretty hard time getting that air to kind of go down that tight little tunnel out the back. We can see that some of it is making it out the back, but the airspeed looks very, very low, and it's very turbulent in the front side of the fan. So I'm not very confident this is gonna turn out, how we want it to. But before we talk about how all these did in the wind tunnel testing, let's first just see what they sound like. Dragon's Breath came in at 51.3 dBA. The Cheetah came in around 50 dBA. The Batwing Plus came in around 51.6 dBA. And the Blow Z came in around 50 dBA as well. Pretty interesting. They're all pretty much right around that 50 dB marks, which is interesting. Now this thing, before I tell you exactly how well it did in the wind tunnel testing, let's discuss how well this fan did by itself, because the fan is going to be the main factor that decides if this works or doesn't. So the Dragon's Breath fan by itself produced 655 feet per minute of airflow, which is pretty good. That's very, very high. That puts it 4th overall versus all the other fans we tested this season, which is not that bad. And if this adapter really does work as intended, that could go up even higher. However, that really didn't turn out to be the case. When I added this air maximizer, my anemometer just literally couldn't read any airflow through the tube. I got a big old goose egg, which was a bummer. As for the other fans, the Cheetah produced 485 feet per minute. The Batwing Plus produced 562 feet per minute. The Blow Z produced 613 feet per minute. And I know, just like you, I wanted to see this work, so I decided to give it the best chance possible, and I attached the big old thick boy Fantex T30. If you remember that fan from like the first time we ever used this wind tunnel. It's a big old thick boy. It spins up to 3,000 RPM, and if any fan was gonna make this work, it was gonna be that one. Just to give you a representation of how well the T30 performs on this little test that we run all these fans through. By itself, just the T30 on the wind tunnel produced 954 feet per minute of airflow, which absolutely smashes the cheater back there, just right out of the water. So if there's any fan that can beat the cheater, it's the T30, although it is spinning 1,000 RPM faster and it's thicker, but I won't tell anybody if you don't. However, once I attached the air maximizer to the T30, that flow dropped to 250 feet per minute. So unfortunately, although I love the idea of this here design, it unfortunately did not pan out how we all hoped. So overall, the Blow Z came in first place, the Batwing came in second, the Cheetah came in third, and the Dragon's Breath fourth. And again, I understand that it didn't work how we all intended, and that doesn't matter. It's all fun to try all the designs you guys come up with. So if you're sitting out there on a design but you haven't sent it in because you're like, it might not work, who cares? Send it to me. We'll try it out. It's always fun to test things like this. That's all part of the fun. So if you want to get involved with the Fan Showdown, get subscribed to the channel. You can head over to my Thingiverse account to grab some models, some reference information about how to create your fan and make sure it fits on the A12X25. Send your designs, send at least an STL file to thefanshowdown@gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you get subscribed, and I hope to see you in the next episode.